Observe how the divine moves with a quiet, surgical precision, never missing a beat and never arriving a second late. He doesn't need to shout to be heard or make a scene to be noticed. He simply watches over the unfolding of time. When the clock strikes the appointed hour, he shifts the very foundations of your reality to align with his grand design. Just as the stars follow their orbits and the seasons obey their call, your life is held firmly in the hand of the Almighty. Whether the world acknowledges it or not, his justice is an immovable force that eventually levels every valley. Beloved, understand that your presence here is not some random stroke of luck or a happy coincidence. It is the result of divine timing orchestrating a meeting between your soul and this truth. Be absolutely certain of this. The scales of heaven always find their balance. The scriptures remind us in Proverbs 11:21 that the wicked will not escape their due, but the righteous are destined for a path of freedom. Think of those who tried to blow out your flame or whispered shadows against your character behind closed doors. They plotted for your stumbling, but the law of the harvest is real, and they are now becoming entangled in the very nets they wove for you. When you are chosen by the Creator, protection isn't just a shield. It is a platform for your elevation. You weren't just meant to survive the sting of betrayal. You were meant to be purified by the heat of it. Your brilliance did not happen by accident. It was forged in the middle of the most intense storms you have ever faced. Like gold that must endure the furnace to lose its dross, your true value emerged through the seasons of pain, silence, and tearful prayers. God has been working on you in the hidden places, during those years when it felt like you were forgotten or sidelined. In that holy silence, you were being shaped for a weight of glory that the world cannot yet comprehend. Now, that spiritual weight lingers on you, transforming the very air you breathe and the rooms you enter. No weapon formed against you will ever have the power to take root because your foundation is eternal. The noise of the critics and the roar of the doubters were never loud enough to drown out the specific calling placed on your life. Their opinions were merely distractions that held no weight in the courtroom of heaven. Isaiah 61 commands you to arise and shine because your light has finally arrived, and the glory of the Lord is rising upon you like a new dawn. You see, God's anointing makes you untouchable in the spiritual realm long before you become undeniable in the physical world. Your rise isn't a distant hope or something lurking in the far-off future. It is unfolding in the present moment. Even your enemies can feel the shift, though they lack the language to explain the unease you bring them. Heavenly timing is a sacred mystery, and if your spirit is starting to stir right now, I want you to receive this message as a direct word for your soul. If you have walked through the fire and come out with a glow that shouldn't belong to a survivor, then this space was created specifically for you. This isn't just content for you to consume and forget. It is a divine confirmation of the path you are currently walking. You didn't just happen to click on this by chance or stumble here through a glitch in an algorithm. God led you here with intention because you didn't find this message. This message was sent out into the digital wilderness to find you. As you prepare to step boldly into the fullness of your divine purpose, I want to invite you to make a conscious declaration of your readiness. Take a second, breathe deeply, and whisper to yourself, Lord, align my life with your will right now. If you feel that internal shift happening, type Amen in the comments to claim this transition as your own. Stay with me, because we are going to close this moment with a powerful prayer that will seal these truths in the spirit realm. Your comeback isn't a lucky break, it's a divine mandate. Your glow up isn't a trend, it's a God-ordained transformation that is only just beginning to be unveiled to the world. The first thing you must realize is that you have to stop dimming your light just to make the people around you feel comfortable. You were never created to blend into the background or disappear into the beige walls of conformity. Your purpose is to shift the atmosphere of every environment you inhabit, whether people can put a name to that power or not. The moment you cross the threshold of a room, the energy changes, conversations might pause, and eyes begin to drift toward you. This isn't because of your physical appearance or the clothes you wear. It's because your spirit arrived before your body did. This is the hallmark of divine elevation. When heaven aligns with your soul, the physical world has no choice but to take notice of the radiance you carry. Matthew 5:14 tells us that you are the light of the world, a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden from view. The energy you project isn't rooted in arrogance or a sense of superiority. It is the visible residue of every battle you have successfully survived. It is the unmistakable glow of someone who has walked through the center of the flame and didn't come out smelling like the smoke of their past. People will try to copy your style or mimic your words, but they will never be able to touch your essence. Your essence cannot be duplicated because it is part of your spiritual DNA, woven into your being through the hours of solitude and surrender. This is why you no longer feel the need to speak loudly to be heard or defend yourself to be understood. Your spirit does the talking for you, announcing that you finally know who you are and that you refuse to shrink ever again. That kind of quiet confidence doesn't just intimidate the insecure, it actually convicts them. It unsettles those who are still hiding behind masks and living for the hollow applause of strangers. You show up unfiltered and whole, and that is a revolutionary act in this age. You didn't ask for this magnetic quality, and you didn't buy it in a store. It was forged in the lonely hours when no one was watching. That is why your presence lingers in people's minds long after you've left, haunting those who once made the mistake of overlooking you. You have reached a level of internal power that doesn't need to scream to be felt. It simply radiates outward like a heat source. The more you walk in your absolute truth, the more unstoppable you become in your daily life. This isn't about seeking attention. It's about the gravitational pull of God's favor on a life that has been fully surrendered. The second key is to refuse to follow the crowd, regardless of how much pressure society puts on you to conform. The world is currently addicted to borrowed identities and performing for a digital audience that forgets you the moment you stop entertaining them. You have chosen the much more dangerous and rewarding path of authenticity, which is exactly what makes you spiritually untouchable. You don't walk into a room hoping to be noticed. You walk in already knowing your worth. In a generation obsessed with filters and curated lifestyles, your raw truth acts as a mirror that forces others to see their own reality. Romans 12:2 warns us not to conform to the patterns of this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. You have reached a place where you no longer need permission to exist or acceptance to feel valid. That kind of boldness is inherently shaking to people who are still playing the social games of comparison. You don't chase the latest trends or shift your soul to satisfy an algorithm. You stand still in your truth and let the world find its way to you. While they whisper and wonder why they can't stop watching you, the answer remains simple. Realness is the rarest currency on earth. You aren't just attractive because of your external features. You are attractive because of the ancient truth you represent. Your energy has the power to break chains of pretense in others, giving them silent permission to finally stop acting. Without even opening your mouth, your very existence calls the people around you to a higher standard of living. This isn't an act of rebellion for the sake of being different. It's an act of alignment with your Creator. The beautiful irony is that the less you try to be seen, the more unforgettable you actually become to everyone you encounter. The third lesson is to learn the art of reading the room before it has the chance to break your spirit. Discernment is not just a gut feeling or a lucky guess. It is divine intelligence operating within your mind. When you walk into a space and feel a sudden shift in the atmosphere, trust that your spiritual radar is picking up on something real. You don't need a formal explanation to know what is happening beneath the surface of a conversation. The Holy Spirit has built a deep inner knowing inside of you that is often sharper than what others can handle or even acknowledge. You can sense the tension in the silence and hear the truth in the gaps between the words people speak. This isn't a skill you learned in a book. It's a gift God placed in you to protect and guide you. In the story of Elijah, God didn't speak through the spectacular wind or the earthquake, but through a gentle, thin whisper. That is the frequency you operate on, quiet, penetrating, and completely undeniable. You can look into someone's eyes and see the storm they are hiding. People often feel exposed in your presence, but it's not because you are judging them. It's because they finally feel seen. This is why complete strangers will often pour their hearts out to you without knowing why they are doing it. Your intuition is a reflection of your own internal depth, and many people can't bear to see the things they've been running from reflected in you. You don't avoid the deep parts of life. You walk straight into them and hold space for the things others try to bury. You might unsettle some people, but you also heal them because you understand without needing a long list of explanations. That is a sacred power that doesn't manipulate others, but actually ministers to their souls. The fourth pillar of this journey is to stop explaining yourself and let your boundaries do the talking. There comes a point in your spiritual maturity where you no longer owe anyone a dissertation on why you made a specific choice. You don't need to raise your voice to be firm or justify why you have placed distance between yourself and certain environments. Your presence itself becomes the message. You know who you are, and you know who is allowed into your inner sanctum. Just as Jesus frequently withdrew to lonely places to pray and recharge, you have learned that your sacred ground must be guarded. People can feel this shift, and they might react to it like a sudden change in the weather. You haven't built walls out of bitterness or anger. You've established boundaries out of divine wisdom and self-respect. You no longer move through life trying to appease the whims of others or shrinking yourself to be more relatable. Suddenly, the people who used to test your limits will begin to hesitate. They tread lightly because your stillness is louder than any confrontation could ever be. They may claim you've changed or grown cold, but they are simply feeling their old methods of control slipping away. You have become too anchored in your own peace to be swayed by the guilt trips or manipulations of the past. This is the moment every chosen person reaches, where peace truly becomes their greatest power. You don't need to clap back or defend your growth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your calm has become a shield that the arrows of drama simply cannot pierce. The people who thrived on your old tolerance will naturally retreat because your energy no longer invites the chaos it used to entertain. You have become a temple where only truth is allowed to dwell. Finally, don't ever try to fake the glow, because true transformation doesn't perform, it simply radiates from the inside out. There is something undeniable happening in your life right now, and even if you remain silent, the world around you can feel the weight of it. You didn't need a new wardrobe or a lifestyle coach to change the atmosphere. Your spirit has undergone a divine upgrade. Psalm 34:5 tells us that those who look to him are radiant and will never be covered in shame. This isn't a temporary glow up. It's a permanent God up that changes your very frequency. Your light is not cosmetic, it is cosmic, born from the pieces of a heart that was shattered and then rebuilt by grace. You have whispered prayers that no human ear heard, and you have grown deep roots in seasons where nothing seemed to be blooming. Because you healed in the hidden places, your aura now announces your arrival before you even speak. While the world was busy doubting you, you were busy aligning with the source of all life. You didn't chase beauty, you chased healing. You didn't perform for approval, you sought the peace that surpasses all understanding. Now you are a mirror, and your authenticity convicts those who are still living in the counterfeit. Your radiance lingers because it is sacred, forged in the fire of experience rather than the filter of an app. You aren't walking in ego, you are walking in the victory that has already been won on your behalf. You are no longer just surviving your life, you have become the very embodiment of resilience. As you continue to walk this path, remember that you are not becoming someone new. You are finally revealing the person God created you to be from the very beginning. I would love to help you explore this further. Would you like me to write a personalized daily prayer or affirmation list based on these 12 pillars to help you stay anchored in this mindset?